Peppa Pig is that animated show that always ends with the whole gang rolling on the floor laughing, or happily jumping up and down in muddy puddles. But would you believe it if I told you that behind all these shenanigans, there is someone controlling the people of Peppa's town and secretly recording their daily routine? Think about it. At the very beginning of every episode, we can see that the scene always starts outside of Peppa's house and slowly zooms in until we reach somewhere inside the pig family's house. It is pretty much as if the gang were being filmed for a TV show broadcasted to the entire planet. Except they are absolutely oblivious to it. And the exact person responsible for this is evil enough to do it without anyone knowing, while simultaneously being one of the most beloved and cutest figures in the cartoon. We found this super weird and investigated it, and we discovered that, as incredible as it may seem, the one running this whole gig is none other than Miss Rabbit, the woman of 1,000 jobs and the most helpful citizen in all of England. Or is she really? Actually, contrary to what everyone imagines, she doesn't have a bunch of professions, but rather one single job, pulling a fast one on everybody. This would definitely turn her into the most wicked figure in the entire history of Peppa Pig. Do you want to understand how this story works? Then stick around with us to unravel this mysterious and bizarre side of Peppa's world. For a long time, Peppa Pig was just a cartoon with little stories that came out really slowly. However, in 2019, right in the 6th season of the animated show, something super weird went down in the 20th episode, titled TV Land. In this story, Peppa's crew is watching the Super Potato Show with Emily and Edmund Elephant. While they're watching, Mommy Pig notices that she has memorized the entire lyrics to the theme song. And then Daddy Pig mentions that the whole thing is always the same and never changes, airing on television at the exact same time every single day. Remember this carefully, because this comment is the secret to uncovering Miss Rabbit's scheme that we are going to explain to you very shortly. The little ones want to know how teeny tiny people get inside the television, and Daddy Pig decides to take the gang to the place where they film the show. When they get there, they see that the boss of the whole joint is exactly Miss Rabbit. It just had to be. She bosses Super Potato around and decides when they start and stop filming, showing that she is constantly behind the scenes taking care of everything. Keep an eye on that. After receiving a visit from everyone, she wants to know if any of the kids want to be on television. Peppa agrees super fast, but the poor thing had no idea that this was just the beginning of a gigantic master plan by Miss Rabbit. As soon as the little girl decides to get on camera, Miss Rabbit gives her a ton of encouragement, telling her to speak her mind. The little pig quickly introduces her relatives, and to wrap things up, everyone bursts out laughing and rolls on the floor, just exactly like it always happens. Except nobody ever imagined that this moment was going to become the intro to all the over 300 episodes of the cartoon. That classic scene at the beginning of every story was shot on that exact day and has been repeating for the last 20 years, since 2004, with that blue wall and green floor that we thought were the sky and the grass, but in reality, they were just a fake TV studio. You can tell that Peppa's crew visiting the studio served as inspiration for Miss Rabbit to come up with a heck of an idea. Inventing a brand new show, way different from the Super Potato Show, which kept repeating that same old boring stuff forever. She decided to create an attraction with different stories, turning the local residents like Peppa's family into the main stars. Without spending a dime on memorized lines or professionals, she created right then and there the PEPPA series that we all watch. But there is a super secret point to all this. For sure, neither the little pig nor her parents have any idea that they are starring in a TV show to this very day. To keep this secret under wraps, Miss Rabbit films their daily routine and broadcasts it on TV, controlling everything so that the broadcast is blocked from the screens in that town, airing only for the folks on the outside, like you and me. If you're enjoying the video, subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss any new videos. It is totally crazy to think that Peppa's gang is in a reality show without having the slightest clue about it. And the most bizarre part is that nobody thinks Miss Rabbit is evil because of this. Man, if it were a deal, the family would know perfectly well that their daily routine had turned into TV entertainment. The crux of the matter is that the entire village, except for the people who work with Miss Rabbit, seems to not notice that they are right in the crosshairs of the camera lenses. This makes the whole story really sketchy. Don't you agree? One strong piece of evidence for this theory is that in every story intro, we see the camera slowly creeping up to the window of the building where things are going to go down. It could be at Peppa's house, at the school, or anywhere else. The beginning is identical. This goes to show that there is a secret camera filming everything from the outside, taking advantage of the window glass to go completely unnoticed. Using this clever trick, Miss Rabbit got rid of the hassle of making up stories like she used to do on the Super Potato Show, because the new attraction shows the real life of Peppa and the gang, generating brand new and totally natural episodes. If this whole thing is real, the truth is that Miss Rabbit doesn't chase after more than 100 jobs. She has only one job: running this secret Peppa TV show, a production that the little pig herself has no idea is even happening. Dude, this is super creepy. It is as if there was someone watching your every single step all the time, without you suspecting absolutely anything. Looking at all these clues, we can say with our eyes closed that the most mysterious figure in Peppa Pig is Miss Rabbit. Who here hasn't ever found it weird that she works so many jobs at the exact same time? But looking at it this way, the math adds up perfectly. Miss Rabbit shows up at every party, fair, or local event. Even though the cartoon is full of fantasy, handling that many professions all at once would be impossible, even for an animated show. A very obvious explanation is that, since it is all television, she acts and also directs. Thus, she takes on various roles so she doesn't have to spend money calling in extras or new actors, which saves time and keeps the scheme locked up tight. Since the neighbors around there are a bit slow, nobody finds it weird, and everyone thinks it is completely normal for her to have over 100 jobs. This trickery makes the farce totally viable and pretty macabre. At the end of the day, a director's job is to keep the show running. Except the messed up part is that Miss Rabbit films the folks without their permission, and the only ones who know about this shady business are the technical crew and a few paid actors. Miss Rabbit's scheme running things behind the scenes has been working perfectly for ages. If you are still in doubt, take a look at the ending of TV Land. Right there, she accidentally lets the truth slip out by mentioning that Peppa would get screen time every single day. And there's more. She blurts out that the gang is going to show up hundreds and hundreds of times. To me, that line sounded pretty wicked. This makes it crystal clear that that date marked the kickoff, the #1 taping of Peppa's show. From that moment on, all the episodes we watch started coming to life. This whole talk brings a heavy vibe, because it shows that Miss Rabbit knows a lot about how television messes with people's heads. You can see this when Mummy Pig realizes she knows the Super Potato theme song by heart without remembering how she learned it. That is exactly what happens when you listen to the exact same track non-stop every single day while the kids watch the cartoon. In the exact same way, in this very same story, Mummy Sheep shows up humming the tune looking like a robot, proving the sheer power that TV has. Miss Rabbit gets all of this and takes advantage of this control to guide the townsfolk without raising any suspicions, turning everybody into puppets for her show, just as if they were her employees. In this hidden scheme, some characters are actually in on it and help out with the production. The most famous one on the list is definitely Super Potato, who, in reality, is the exact same person as Mr. Potato. This proves that the two of them are the exact same guy. It might sound like crazy talk, since they have already appeared side by side, and Super Potato supposedly flies and has superpowers. But do not forget, this is all an illusion from Miss Rabbit's attraction. In the episode TV Land, we notice that there is a filming going on in the studio, with Super Potato warming up his voice and reading a piece of paper with his lines. This all implies that there is an editing trick and a stunt double involved, all set up by Miss Rabbit to put the show together. A little while earlier, the kids see Super Potato seemingly gliding in the air, but looking behind the cameras, you can see that it is just a blue wall serving as a backdrop. This is exactly how Mr. Potato and the hero end up being played by the very same actor. This move saves a ton of money, since Miss Rabbit doesn't have to pay different professionals for every single role. It is no coincidence that the rabbit got a medal from the Queen for her hard work on the job. However, thinking about it a bit more, who would bet their life that it was the real queen? The most likely scenario is that it was just another employee paid by Miss Rabbit to pass herself off as the ruler. And if this theory is right, you can bet that Santa Claus and the pirate, the other humans in the cartoon, are merely paid extras. At the end of the day, even the narrator's voice that we hear all the time would belong to an employee of the TV company, functioning as just one more little piece in this super bizarre master plan, run by a greedy Miss Rabbit, absolutely crazy for control and full of interest in money. We'll stop here, but you can still keep watching more incredible videos. Just click on either of these two appearing for you. Until next time.